Hilarious underpants. Gary is big. I get the aesthetic that this, that the Diesel Dreams thing is going for. Also, it's gonna come up. He's gonna run off the screen a second, but those purple guys, their faces are so fucking funny, and the little dudes, the little like beige colored ones are funny looking too, I guess. But yeah, I get the aesthetic that this level thing is going for, but like this is SpongeBob's subconscious, and like, does he, like, I don't know. I get that SpongeBob has had like driving dreams before, and he wants to be like a cool driver, but like this is also like very aggressive and like makes me wonder about the way he views these characters that he's racing, that he's having these dreams where like Gary is just this massive like speed demon who like broke his car. I don't know. I'm psychoanalyzing SpongeBob based on the level design of the game, I suppose. And I'm not making very good use of these zoomers, which is what I'm gonna call those. Yeah, and in this part, SpongeBob feels the need to call Gary Snail Daddy at all times. And also just generally needs to comment on everything, as a silly platforming character does. It gets pretty annoying just because of the like speed at which you are encountering new things for him to quip about. And because he's supposed to be racing and being like a cool dude, so he's like screaming the whole time. I mean, like, you're hearing it. I don't need to describe it. That's why I don't have the subtitles on for this game, because it would just be like constant quips. I like the, what am I calling them? Zoomers? I think they're just called speed boosts, but Zoomers is funnier. I like that they make the screen light up and shit, and so doing it right before the, finish line is always cool, because they have the fireworks going. It looks neat. There's my positive comment to counteract all of my, criticisms. So that's the abrupt end of the SpongeBob section of the game. It's already over. I actually forgot. I was thinking that this section was one level longer. I thought that there was this race and then another platforming section and then another race and then this. But turns out the last level that we just did was just so long that I thought it was 2 levels. So anyway, here's the Patrick bit. Patrick's neck is not attached to his body. Or his whole arm is missing. So yeah, this section is just as didactic and long-winded as the last one. The difference is that I like the aesthetic of it. I like the idea behind it a little more. And also it's Patrick themed, and everyone in this dream world is a version of Patrick, as you'll see. And Patrick is funny, so it's okay. And you'll also probably, so he changes his costume if you look closely every time you do your spin move. And you will often see me probably doing the spin move a bunch of times so that it can be this one, because this one looks awesome, and I'm still 9 years old, like I was when I was first playing this game, because I saw that when I was like, oh shit, so I learned the pattern so that I could always go back to it. Anyway, get ready to tiptoe into this fucking phone booth about 1 billion times. Make sure we watch every single one. So yeah, like I said, I mean, you know, yeah, we have a message telling us that. Why not just do that? And then at the beginning, you can do it. Just from the beginning, you do it. You don't need to tell me in a million different ways. Yeah, it's just like the last one where, you know, you gotta have a cutscene that tells you gotta have a little message that tells you, blah blah. Only difference is it is this anonymous tip person in the phone booth. And all of these are unskippable, by the way. Okay. Yeah, we have another one right off the bat. Any other stuff I can do? But yeah, you know, I've already off to a bitching start with this section, but I think it's probably my favorite section of the game. Again, like I said, I like the aesthetic and the idea behind it, and I don't know, like, it has the same central flaws as all of the platforming stuff in the SpongeBob section that I've talked about, but it's also, like, I don't know, I just think this stuff works a little more. It's kind of silly and laid back in a way, whereas Diesel Dreams just feels like aggressive, but in kind of a boring way that loses steam, if that makes any sense. I don't know. This was always, like, I would always like playing these levels, like, at night when I was a kid, because they seemed like good nighttime levels. Kapowie. Yeah, you have this blowing ability as well. You can just blow air. It's pretty great. Nice. I don't want to do that right now. I'm just trying to get all the goodies before I actually do the level. I always thought that you should be able to knock down these houses just because they're thin, but then I guess they would have to do that for, like, all of them. Oh yeah, you have to hit these more than once. I like how arbitrarily some of these boxes have Z's and others don't. But when they do have Z's, it's real satisfying. That's one of the saving graces of this game, is just that it's the type of game that I'll play even if I don't even love it that much. Where you collect things. Like, you heard me, I don't even know what the fucking sleepy seeds do. I don't even remember off the top of my head. But I know you gotta collect them, so I'm trying to get all those bitches. I'm not actually going to make a point to get all of them, as in, like, get 100%, but I will. You know, if they're there, I'm gonna try to get them. More guys. I like how their shadows were where they were gonna land. And there's that guy. Let's see if I land on one. Well, that was cool. Love getting points. Alright, I wanna run into this water. I can't jump through here. Awesome. I thought that would have coins in it. I'm stupid. But yeah, I wish the game was more of that kind of stuff. I wish instead of spending a million years on all this other bullshit that, you know, it filled up the time with... Where's the fucking... Oh, it's up here. I'm stupid. I'm not paying attention. Instead of doing all this bullshit, it, you know, would have more stuff where you're destroying stuff and getting points and, you know, jumping like all other games. But they don't want that. They don't want me to be happy. Ooh, I'm locked in. What am I gonna do? The real joke is that you can just jump over all this shit. You don't even really have to wait for the brakes. Oh, we're in a new room, so we have to watch a cutscene about it. I think it just comes down to one of my central things with games, and the reason that I don't play all that many games to completion, honestly, and that I don't play all that many longer games unless I really like them, or unless they're a specific kind of game that I just find fun to play, even if I don't think they're amazing. A la something like Grand Theft Auto. And even then I have my limits. But, I just don't like when games artificially extend the playing time of a game with bullshit. By just having things take longer just because of how they are. You know, it doesn't actually make it more fun, really, and it doesn't make more sense or anything. It's purely just to make it longer. And, like, if you could skip all the tutorial shit in this game, all of these levels could take, like, 10 minutes. But instead they take a half hour. And I just don't like you don't even have the option. Or do you? Have I been a fucking idiot this whole time and you can actually... I'm sorry, I was just silently realizing that I may need to reevaluate my entire feelings on this game 3 segments into my Let's Play of it. Why isn't there anything in here? This would be a good place to hide something. Because, yeah, one of my... As you can tell from the last 3 videos, one of my chief complaints with this game has always been the overbearing tutorial, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. I don't think I'm standing on that. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with all of you. I didn't really know that you could turn the tutorial off. Or at least if I did know that, like if I figured that out as a kid and made a habit of doing that at some point, I don't remember that, and I didn't think of it the last time that I played through this, which was a few months ago. So, I mean, maybe I'm not a complete moron because, you know, I mean, I'm sure I've gone into the options before as a kid. I would dick around with absolutely everything in a game, but this is going to color my experience of things. So I'm going to see to what extent it limits the tutorial, like if it's literally gets rid of all of the stuff. I mean, like, this kind of cutscene is gonna stay because it's when the villain talks to you, but... My perfect pinkness. Oh, okay, so wait, no, I don't have to reevaluate my opinion of this because all of this bullshit is still in and I still can't skip it. So... Okay, well, that's a little bit, what word am I looking for? Underwhelming, I guess, because I was perfectly ready to reevaluate this entire game and have a radically different feeling for it than I did when I started. I'm perfectly open to it. And honestly, I was ready for like a just smooth ass gaming experience for this game. Now that like without all of this tutorial bullshit, but that is just simply not the case. It's just turning off the messages that tell you how to do stuff, so that only the cutscene tells you it, which is like the worst of the two options. Because, yeah, Patrick is funnier than SpongeBob's quips, at least, but they still go on a little too long, and they're not genius or anything. I mean, I'm fairly certain that the script for this game was not written by writers of the show, so I don't think you can expect the same level of wit or whatever. That's one thing, speaking of watching, I was talking in the last segment about going back and watching older SpongeBob episodes and then going through and watching all of them for the first time, is whenever I watch older ones versus the seasons 4 through 7 ones, I am always taken aback at how much more, for lack of a better term, sophisticated the humor is in the original seasons. I don't know how else to really characterize it. It's just humor where, like, and it's not just like necessarily adult humor in quotes, but just humor that like you kind of have to think about, like you have to have a brain and whatever and like experience of the world to get. And like I said, like, it's not just adult jokes necessarily. It's stuff that some of them as a kid I was able to get, but and I think, but it also is the adult humor, quote unquote. But I think whenever people think of, oh, it has humor for adults as well as kids, they think of like risque jokes. They think of like, oh, it's, you know, like when SpongeBob says, Patrick, your genius is showing, and he says, where? I don't know about you guys, but I was a kid when I got that joke and found it funny. Like, I didn't have to grow up and then learn what he meant. When I was a child, I was like, oh, that sounds like penis, and he covers his dick. That's funny. And I mean, it's still funny. Dicks are funny. But if I could think of an example off the top of my head, that would be great. Maybe I will include one in a, you know, in a title card on the video or in the description or something. But I can't be damned to think of one now because I'm playing the video game. I can't think of any. But that's like the penis one is a perfect one off the top of my head for what I'm talking about, for the opposite of what I'm talking about. But I think the other kind of adult humor is more important, where it's more kind of sophisticated humor, where, yeah, a kid won't get this because, like, I mean, I guess a kid could get it, but, like, the joke in the Doing Time episode where SpongeBob says she's forgotten what it's like to be on the outside and to not be in prison, and they cut to that random dude who, like, is stuck in traffic and then goes to work in a cubicle and then is staring out the window all with the same expression, and his wife says, coming to bed, honey? And he goes, yes, dear. And then cuts back. Like, that's like a Family Guy kind of joke to me. Like, that's not to say that Family Guy jokes are sophisticated. I'm just saying it's more subtle and you know, more adult, for, you know, to use that term, humor than you would expect in a kids movie, in a kids show, not because it's super risque and kids, you know, whatever, but because, you know, a kid doesn't really know that experience. Like, a kid doesn't really get what is funny about that. It's like when I was home for Christmas, and me and my brother and my niece, who is my brother's daughter, we were all watching The Simpsons. We were sitting in the living room and eating lunch one day and watching The Simpsons. And she was just watching The Simpsons because that's where me and her father were, and she likes hanging out with us and sitting on my body. So she wasn't really retaining anything that was going in. But every once in a while, there'd be a joke where, you know, they say something, and me and Matt would laugh, Matt being my brother. And every time my niece would be like, "What's funny?" And, you know, but it wasn't the risque jokes. Like, she got the parts where Homer beats someone up or gets hit in the dick, like, because kids get why that's funny. But if it's a joke about, like, George Bush, like the original George Bush, or, you know, a joke about, like the one where he's hastily doing his taxes, Homer, and he says that, like Bart is 3 people or whatever, and all that shit. Like, of course a child won't get why that's funny. Patrick has that ecstatic expression. And also, I was talking during it, but yes, I will be going around and blowing all these poles. And, dick joke, double entendre, entirely, intentional. Well, I like how the B button is backwards. I'm not really sure why this is a thing. There are plenty of other, like, they have the fans that you blow, and they have buttons, obviously, but for some reason they also have these tabs where you hit B a bunch of times. Oh, hell yeah, drink up those points. If you want me to like a game at least a little bit, just have a little thing that has a counter for it in the top that you can collect a lot of, that make a nice little sound when you eat them up. Doesn't even really, like, matter very much to me what the actual point of them is, or what you use them for. Just having them in there, it'll just add a little fun thing. There are some base desires and things that just, you know, just tingle your limbic system, just the animalistic sort of pleasure center in your brain. There are certain ones of those that you need to know to give into when, especially in art, of just stuff that it doesn't really matter why, doesn't really matter, you don't really have to get into it, but you just like it, it feels good, and one of those for me is collecting shit in video games, so I don't really have any desire to explain why. Yeah. I think I just got what his plan was about. He said, my plan involved rope and jellyfish and a picture of Squidward. Does that mean that he was going to tie a rope to this building and then tie, jellyfish to the rope and then put a picture of Squidward far away, and then they would chase after him thinking it's Squidward and pull the building down? Because that's honestly not that much dumber than just ramming your face into it. They're all just commiserating and walking into each other. That's what I like to do when I'm hanging with the fellas. It was an amazing camera angle. Hell yeah, I feel like a hero. I don't know why they even give him the underwear one. It should either be the underwear one or the red one. I have to keep blowing it to make the coin appear. I'm probably just gonna end up calling these coins. They look like coins. And saying Z's is annoying. This concept always felt kind of superfluous to me and didn't really make much sense to me because, well, the first thing you'll note is that he says the closer you are, the warmer you'll be, the farther away, the colder you get. Well, the first question is, well, from what? Like, what am I closer to? And it's literally just, you know, whatever you need to be dealing with in that moment, you know, how close you are to it. And, like, I guess I see the value in that kind of ability generally, but I don't know why you would necessarily need to call attention to it. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of these. Lots of games have, lots of these kinds of games have enemies like that where it's something that will come munching after you, and there's either something it's attached to, or, you know, you have to hit it from above in some manner. Holy fucking shit. Holy shit. Hit the button. Son of a bitch. I got hit like 6 times. I don't know how I don't have... I only have 1 hit point taken away. I don't know why I gotta watch all these motherfuckers be born, but... whatever. Where are you wobbly goons? There's a point later on where a character says the phrase "dreaded Patrick's goons" like 5 times in the space of a minute, and I love it. I don't know what's so funny to me about the word goons to describe like henchmen. It just makes me laugh. I think there are some clips of audio for Patrick that are from other games, because that little hoop that he does sometimes when he jumps, it sounds a lot like another thing. Okay, well, it looks like we're going into a new section of the game, and I don't want to start talking about it, and it's been going on for a while, so this is probably where I'm going to split the video. So next time we'll be doing more Starfish Man stuff. I'm going to save. And I will see you next time for that.